Morning walk with Charlie. Look at this guy, he is so excited. Very dry and nice weather today, but so cold. Oh my god, you can see the ice on the pavements as well. But nice area. Look at all this. This is awesome. See you in a bit. Hello orchid fans, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. And today is a new part of the series that I've been doing about my orchids that I got before I started the channel. So I'm basically going through the history of all these orchids. And today I've got for you this Macodes petola. Look how beautiful this is. I've also heard this to be called lightning bolt orchid because all these stripes on the leaves looks like a lightning bolt. It's also called a jewel orchid, but there are quite a few jewel orchids in the group, so this is not the only one. So this is a species orchid. I got it in mid-July, and when it arrived it was quite small. It just had one growth, which was this one here. So this guy that is kind of lying on the media right now, it was actually growing straight up, and it had a few leaves on here. So this leaf is also from the same growth, and when I got it, it started growing a flower spike straight away, which was really surprising because it was so small. I didn't think it was actually capable of blooming at that stage. It pushed out a really long spike, and the flowers are kind of brownish, very small flowers. You can see a photo on the screen. The way it flowers, it honestly took forever for that flower spike to mature, but then this flower started opening up from the bottom of the spike, and one flower would be open for about a week, and then it wilters off, and it takes about a week for the next flower to open. So they kind of grow in sequence, so you would have about 3 or 4 flowers open at the same time, but it had about maybe 20 flowers on the spike, and it was kind of traveling up the spike. So yeah, it was quite a show, and it was blooming for a while. It then started pushing out this new growth here, this little guy. And as it started doing that, it was going quite slow, so I cut the flower spike before it finished blooming, just to give the orchid enough energy to work hard on these growths. And it worked, because this growth is going strong. It's got a second leaf, and it's now pushing out a third leaf out of it, which is pretty amazing. Also, this existing growth started pushing out other growths. So I've got one just behind this leaf, tucked in there, and it's got a small tiny shoot here, which is not growing very fast. And it's also got a growth there in between these two. So yeah, it started really pushing hard, and it's growing really fast. And this is what really amazed me. So when it started pushing out this growth behind this leaf, it was quite high up on this growth because it was growing straight up. And I was thinking, so this is a terrestrial orchid, by the way, so it means its roots would not grow in air, it likes to have media around it. And I was thinking, you know, how is this growth going to mature, because it doesn't have any media below it to push the roots down in. And what started happening was this growth, the matured growth, started leaning on the media, basically so that this small growth can reach the media and push the roots down into the media. So you can see that this growth there is now basically lying on the media, so it can push the roots down. It's just so peculiar. I just find this very interesting, that plants almost have the awareness of where all the moisture is and where the media is, and helps itself to go downwards so that it can grow roots. It's just really surprising. I just love watching this plant grow. It's quite fast as well. The media I've got it in, I initially potted it in moss alone, and it really liked it. It pushed out quite a lot of roots, and yeah, it was growing really well. But I don't really like growing things in moss, first because it deteriorates quite quickly, but also as the autumn came, this moss would just, not only it wouldn't dry out, but it held so much water that it was just impossible to kind of circulate that water. So I thought, no, I need to actually repot this. So I kind of got it in small bark. There is ceramis in here, and I also put small chunks of sphagnum moss in the mix as well. This orchid is a very high humidity orchid, and my humidity in the growing area is usually around 50 to 60%. This orchid likes 80-90% of humidity, so my environment is not humid enough for the orchid. So I provide a very humid mix so that it can hold as much water as possible, but still drying out and still providing air to the roots. But I want the plant to be able to absorb the moisture from the media as much as possible and push it up into the plant, and then if it needs to evaporate water through the leaves, it's got enough to drink from the media, because it can't get any moisture from the air, or not as much as it wants to. So as a substitute, I'm basically trying to give it enough water in the media, and this media barely dries out. You can see even now the media is quite moist, and this was watered 4 days ago, and it will get water in the next 3 days, and it's absolutely fine. It won't dry out until then, which is exactly what I need, because if this media dries out, this orchid would suffer pretty bad. You can see some of the leaves, like for example this leaf here is it's kind of curling downwards, and I think that this is a sign of not getting enough humidity from the air. Well, tough, there's not much I can do. It is sitting on top of a humidity tray, so it does get some extra humidity coming up, but it's really not that much. But it's growing well, it's pushing out so many new growths, the roots are developing really nice in the pot. So I think that this plant is happy enough, and it flowered for me, so that tells me that it is pretty happy. So I am really looking forward for this plant to develop the rest of the growths, and hopefully can get some flowers in summer or autumn time. But if you're afraid of these orchids, don't be. They are very easy to grow as long as you provide humidity and moisture in the media. And so if you are overwatering your plants a lot, this is a plant for you. It will really do well for you. Just don't forget to water it, and it will be absolutely fine. It's so rewarding, it grows so fast, and it's so pretty to look at. You don't need the flowers for to enjoy this plant. It's stunning, it really is. Yeah, so it's a low light plant, so I don't provide a lot of light, and apparently if it gets too much light, these stripes can kind of start disappearing. So it's a low light. I give it quite low fertilizer as well, but I fertilize it throughout the year. It doesn't need a winter rest, and yeah, definitely no wet dry cycle. It just wants to stay moist throughout the whole period. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up. Let me know if you're growing this orchid and what your experience is with it. I would really like to know what notes you've got on it, and if you've got any advice, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.